Hello everyone, my name is Dhirendra and on behalf of Sri Aurobindo Society, I would like to welcome you all at this webinar. This webinar is getting organized by Sri Aurobindo Society and is sponsored by HDFC Bank. In the series of these innovative ideas, uh, today we would be discussing an innovative idea or the case study of a different state, and that would be of Karnataka. Before we proceed into discussing about the innovative ideas or the case study, let me first take this as an opportunity to wish you all a very happy Teachers' Day. So, a very happy Teachers' Day to all the teachers on behalf of Sri Aurobindo Society for the tremendous work that you are doing in the field of education. So I remember when I was in class 12th and the Teachers' Day was fast approaching all around. So we were having a discussion as in what to wear, what subject we would be teaching, etc. Let me take you back to that. In the school, there are many events throughout the year that keep the student gainfully occupied and excited. When I was in school, there was one day that many of the students found exciting, and that was the Teachers' Day, a day when senior students used to dress up as teachers and conduct classes. So when I was in class 12 and the teacher day was fast approaching, we were having a discussion as in what we would be wearing, whether we would be sporting a tie or not, and what were the subject that each and every student of that class of senior class would be teaching to the class to the students. So when I dressed up as a teacher, I was on cloud nine. I got to be a teacher for one day and conducted class, though I actually didn't really teach anything. Like all good things comes to an end, the day, the Teacher's Day, passed like this. At the next day, I went back to my student avatar, and somewhere in the heart, I felt that this is such a wonderful profession. I had a wonderful day. I enjoyed a lot. The student welcomed me. They wished me. So why I sometimes feel see the faces of teachers as if they are overburdened. So a couple of decades down the line, after after taking an experience working for corporates, working on different projects, and then working as a trainer, I realized how wrong I was. Being a teacher for one day where you had no responsibilities or didn't even have to do the basic job of teaching was a very different ball game from being a teacher day in and day out. So, uh, even at such an early hour when many of us haven't even woken up, the school staff is all dressed and smiling. Today, being an adult, I can understand the multiple responsibilities that the teachers must have taken care of at their respective homes before dressing up and reaching school. As a student, when I used to enter the staff room, mainly we used to enter the staff room when a teacher asked us to get the duster or chalk from the staff room or to keep the class book copies or test copies back in the staff room. So that was the days or that was the time when we usually got get an opportunity to enter the staff room. I used to find teacher enjoying talking to each other while some were hurriedly checking the copies. Now, as an adult, when I go back, when I enter the staff room, when I realized that teachers were not just talking and having fun discussing about movies or anything as such, but were discussing things like how they woke up at 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, how they ensure their kids get a proper breakfast, how they need to work upon the student if some student or any student is not going good in their academic or academia, how the teacher can use any technique to help those students. So now I realize that there is lot of changes. These days, a teaching job is no less demanding than a corporate job. Apart from teaching, teachers have responsibilities of organizing variety of extra curricular activities and balancing expectations of the school and parents both. Parents who are getting more demanding than those from the previous generation, paying attention to each student who's unique, remembering their names and needs, and then communicating with the parents is a gigantic task. So I can really go and on about the multiple hats that the teacher done, but I guess you get the idea of what tremendous role a teacher is uh, playing in our life. So I would like to thank you all once again. A big, heartful thank you to all the teachers across the world. Happy Teachers Day. So now we would be moving towards the innovative idea and towards the case study. And the case study is from the book of Karnataka. As when I say the book of Karnataka, it simply means that these ideas have been taken from the teacher of Karnataka. We went to the teachers, we had a discussion with them, and then we printed a booklet of teachers of the Karnataka. And this is the book. If you will see here, you will find the logo of Karnataka state printed somewhere here. So these ideas have been given by the teachers of Karnataka that we have started from study onwards. So today I would be discussing the second case study, and that is self-learning. What is self-learning? I just gave you an example of that. When I said that when I was a kid, I had some other interpretation. When I when I grew up, I realized that my interpretation at that point of time was not interpretation but misinterpretation. So now gradually I realized by myself that the role of the teacher and the work of the teacher is not something what I used to feel during my school days. Because as we say, the grass is always greener on the other side. So being a student, I always felt the same. That since we were student, we had a burden of tests, homeworks, etc., assignment, etc. But the teacher at the same time, we felt that he or she doesn't have all these works to do. So we used to feel that the teacher's job is very easy to do. But now, after having a realization, after learning through myself, after getting a self learning, I do realize that it was just the grass on the other side that was looking green. So, this is nothing but the self learning. And it's not like earlier I was not told about that teachers do a tremendous work, they have a huge responsibilities, their work is very tedious, very hectic. But that point of time, since I did not have my own learning, I was unable to grasp it. But after going through my learning, a self-learning, I could feel the difference. This is what is important in the student as well, to develop a self-learning or a habit of learning within themselves. Because the most valuable resource for engaging in self-learning is the ability to be aware of self and the world around us. So there are a variety of educational systems that incorporate self-directed learning as a pedagogy and are based on the idea that all human could be and should be responsible for their own cognitive development. So self-learning could be called as a new approach of education. And why this new approach is needed, why this new pedagogy or why this pedagogy of self-learning is needed, there's a reason to it. And the reason is a student spends only 4 hours, 5 hours, or 6 hours at the school. And the remaining of his or her time is spent at her home. So you will often see parent complaining this, that the student are not interested in learning, their kids are not interested in in learning, and they need someone to be standing there on the head with a stick, or keep them reminding every time to study, study and study. So the thing, when we force a student to study, he won't be paying attention to that. You might see that the kid is sitting, he is sitting in front of open book, and he appear to be studying, but here, but since he or she is not interested in studying, his or her mind would be somewhere else. But at the same time, contrary to that, if the student is interested in learning, if he himself want to learn, if he himself want to study, so whenever he is studying, whenever he is sitting in front of a book, when he is kept a book open, he would be studying at that point of time. So self-learning, if you think about if you take it into psychology as well, we cannot force anyone to do anything. And if someone is doing well, when we are forcing someone, it could be student or anyone for that matter, he would not be giving all his 100% to that task. And if we want the student, the kid, to give their 100%, we need to develop, we need to inculcate, we need to imbibe the habit of self-learning within the student. And with the same thought, teachers of Karnataka gave the innovative ideas, 4 innovative ideas that I would be discussing with you all today. And I would like to call the name of those teachers who have given the idea. And the teachers are B.S. Jayanti ma'am, who is from Uluru, Kundapura. Then we have Anusuya Jugati ma'am, who is from Bagewadi, Vijaypur. We have S.D. Bagoji Kop sir from Bagewadi, Vijaypur. Then we have Vijayalakshmi Agali ma'am, who's from again from Bagewadi, Vijaypur. And then we have Ravi Gaura sir, who is from Udupi. So these are the 5 teachers who have given these innovative ideas that I would be discussing under the case study self-learning. So let's move towards our first innovative idea, which is collect and write. Different topics in the syllabus become easy and interesting if students are left to investigate and dig deeper into them on their own. The teacher can give them the time and resources like reference books to collect the information regarding a particular topic and share them in the class. This activity helps in improving the general knowledge of students and help them understand and remember the concept better. So how the preparation of this is done, let's have a discussion on that. So not much preparation is required for the same. While implementing the activity in this class, students are asked to keep a separate notebook in which they can record their finding and share it in the class. So the teacher explains briefly about this activity, and he could give an example, or he could give the names of the famous personality, including scientists, writers, poets, famous monuments, famous buildings. It could be any topic from the current issues. It could be any topic from the general knowledge, etc., or who's who, etc. So these are the topic which could be given to the student. The teacher gives some time to the student. The student has a leeway to take the help of their parents, their elders. They could use the reference book or internet at the internet for that matter. So a student could use number of references to dig deep and to find the outcome of the resource, or find the outcome of the task that has been given to them. For example, if the teacher is teaching about the 7 wonders of the world, then he or she can briefly explain about them in the class, and the students are asked to find the history, the country, the city of that specific wonder, or the 7 wonders of the world. So it allows the student to dig a little deeper into the subject and find out some extra information that might not be in the textbook. First. Second, it also helps the student interact with their family members, strengthening the bond among them. At the same time, the activity can be extended to various other subjects and topics. For example, the teacher introduces solar system to the students, and then ask them to find about might be about one or a specific planet or a sun or the entire solar system for that matter. That how far is the distance, what is the time duration taken by each and every planet to revolve around the sun or to revolve in their own axis and so on. So these are the questions which could be given by the teachers, and trust me, that develops the curiosity in the mind of the student, that helps in the analytical thinking and the critical thinking of the student. It helps in the interpersonal growth and the self-awareness of the student at the same time. So I'm quite hopeful that you must have liked this idea. Let's move on to another innovative idea, which is children's library. As we say that the books are the best companion, and if we as a teacher do something to make this book the friend of the students or the kids from their childhood, then this friendship of books and children's or the students would be for forever. So we all know that sometimes students in a class becomes monotonous, and of studying of reading the same textbook again and again. It is important for we teachers to give some personal time to student during school time to explore their imagination, gather some new information, and just be themselves for a while. So, when a student indulge reading book of their own choice, they are in a way introducing discipline in their lives and developing a sense of ownership and responsibility toward their own. While enhancing concentration, they are asked to pick up and read the book which they like. It could be fiction, it could be non-fiction, anything. So, how the implementation of this idea is done? Let's have a discussion on that. So teachers first get in touch with the community member, with the alumni of the school, with other fellow teachers at the same time, and with the student of the school. And they are told that we are planning to make a library of our own. And for that, we need your help, your support. If you have any books that you want to donate to the school, we would love to have those books in our library. So the books are collected from the community, from the alumni students, from the fellow teachers, and from the students. And these books are kept in the library in the different sections, different racks. And it is mentioned that is fiction, non-fiction, science, movies or magazines for that matter, etc. A current awareness, politics, etc. Comics. So then the teacher explained to the student about the significance of reading and how it can help them enhance their knowledge about their surrounding and the world. The teacher can make the book available in the library or in the school. So there could be, if they be have or if the school has a separate room that could be used or the corner could be used as a library. In case the school doesn't have much space, in that case, a corner in the classroom itself could be converted or could be made a library. So this is how it is done. After that, if students are given a time, of it could be a lecture or half an hour or 1 hour for that matter, depending upon the teacher how he want to vacate the time or allow the time for the student. During that time, students are free to read any book that they want to read from picking up from the library. It could be any book of their own choice. If any student want to read a book and he want to take this that book to his home or her home, in that case, he is given a permission to take the book. But he is supposed to return that book within a duration of 3 days or a week for that matter. So a time could be decided, and on the basis of that, a student is supposed to return the book at that specific time. Children can be asked at the same time to make a summary of what they learned from the book that they were reading and share it with the student in the class. So student could discuss the summary of their readings, what they have learned, what learning they have achieved from that specific book. So that could also be done at the same time to understand that how much the student is grasping when he's learning at the same time. So this was the second innovative idea. Let's move towards the third innovative idea, that is make fairs. We know that children learn fast and easily with their peers as compared to teachers or parents. If I could give you an example, remember when we were in college? Let me take you back to your college days. When we were in college, uh, and there were times, or at times, suppose, or and it happened with me, I'm sure it happened with most of us, that we used to read a chapter or topic or a unit, and it used to take an entire month, and still we were not able to get the answer or understand the topic better. But during exam days or exam time, we friends used to do a group study, and one friend with his or her weird examples used to quote or used to give some examples, and with his teaching of just in 15 minutes or an hour or so, we used to develop a wonderful understanding of that topic. And most of the time, the same questions often uh, used to come in our exams, and we used to write the answer of that question, and we used to get the mark as well. So, as I said, the children learn fast and easily with their peers as compared to teachers or the parents. They try to emulate what their parents or what their friends or classmates are telling them, or what they are teaching to them. So, this activity helps the student clear their confusion as they find it convenient to reach out to their classmates as compared to parents or teachers. This activity also promotes healthy competition as weak or average students, when paired with good ones, try to follow the letter and improve their learning skills. So how it is done, let's have a discussion on that. First, the teacher prepares a list of intelligent, average and below average students. I don't think that it is need to mention that students are not informed that what kind of list or how the students are getting segregated. Then the teacher then makes pairs of 2 or 4 students. Each will include 1 or 2 intelligent students and the rest being average ones. The teacher designates a time for this activity to be conducted twice or thrice a week. So the teacher first selects a topic relevant to the subject in the class and make a pair of students, keeping in mind that in each in pair there are the mixed batch of student, that is average student, below average student and the intelligent student at the same time. The objective is that the student could help each other in overall academics and preparation for exams. Once the pairs are formed, teacher shares a date sheet of test for evaluation of their learning outcome. The student prepare in pair for these tests. The teacher assigns a scheduled time for students to study together. After a week or so, the teacher takes the test, and the student or the group of the students who performed really well or who stood first is appreciated in front of all the classmates. Also, if suppose by learning, if the student has any query, any question, the student can approach the teacher at the same time, and the teacher helps the student to resolve their query. So this is how, with the help of and the guidance of their own peer, of their own colleagues, the students are able to develop a proper understanding, proper learning, and they get a good grade in the school at the same or the class at the same time. And the level of the student, comparatively as compared to earlier, where was a huge gap, this gap is quite reduced in the learning outcome of the students at the same time. Now, moving on to the next innovative idea, which is star of the class. For children, and why only children? Everyone, appreciation is the biggest motivation. We all love to be appreciated. We all love to be admired, right? So, a child strives to work hard and do better in study when he or she is appreciated by the teacher in front of his colleagues. Children get a sense of achievement and they are encouraged to improve themselves in studies and behavior in class and outside. So in this activity, the teacher gives the star to the student who are performing really well in the class. The teacher can either arrange for the stickers or the student in the art and craft lectures are told to design a sticker of the star shape or badge, and foremost, the teacher explains the importance and significance of the activity to the student. The teacher also informs them that the student who will be doing really good in his academia, who would be in school on time, who would be having a proper attendance, timely submission of homework, proper uniform, etc., would be rewarded as a badge of star of the week, and he could be called the star of the week for the entire that week, and he could get a badge which he could stick at his shirt for that specific duration of a week. So this motivates student to achieve that star or to get that star or to get the title of the star of the week. These parameters, as it can be improvised by the teachers as per their requirement. Once the parameters are set and explained to the student, teachers share a schedule for class test. So once a class test is done, the students are evaluated on the weekly basis. The student who has performed really well in the different fields, in all the fields, is rewarded as the star of the week in front of assembly, and that student is considered has been given or has been given a title as the star of the week for that entire week, and he could have that badge or he has that badge in his shoulder in his shirt for 1 week. So the student who has got 1 week once, one star badge once, he will definitely try to keep that badge, to keep that title for himself for that entire session. And at the same time, the other fellow student who didn't receive that star will be motivated, will give all their best shot, will try their best to do good in their schools, in their performance, to raise their performance so that they could also get that star and that title of the star of the week. So those students who get maximum number of the stars at the end of 6 months or a year are being applauded in front of whole school, teachers and the headmaster. It depends upon the teacher. The strength of the class is used. There could be multiple stars of the week at the same time. So these were the innovative ideas of Karnataka from the case study self-learning, which I believe I had to discuss with you all. If you have any query, any question, you could ask me. Thank you so much for listening to me. Let's see if we have any queries or questions from the teachers. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to me. And once again, I would like to uh, welcome you all and wish you all, greet you all on the day of Teachers' Day. Happy Teachers' Day to everyone. Thank you.